Hello, everyone, and welcome again to another Teacher Joseph podcast. Today, we're going to talk about the verb to thaw, to thaw, T-H-A-W. And we're talking about this verb because on Christmas Day, British people like to eat turkey. Turkey is a big bird, a little bit like a chicken, but larger and more uglier. Okay, so if you think of this huge bird, British people, we buy it in the supermarket frozen. We don't buy it fresh because it would be too expensive. And besides, British people don't really care enough about food to know if it's fresh or not. British people like turkey because it's big, and this bird can feed maybe 5 or 6 people, whereas chickens tend to be smaller. At this time of year, most British people will be eating turkey. It's a tradition. On Christmas Day, you eat turkey. Now, I don't. And I'm sure these days there's many vegetarians and vegans who don't eat it, but that's the traditional dish. Because we buy it frozen, it needs a long time to thaw. So if you buy it, let's say on the 22nd of December, there's no point putting it in the freezer because it's going to need probably at least a day to thaw out. To thaw out means for the ice to melt and for the melted water to drain off it so it can be cooked. Now, this verb to thaw, we use it when we're talking about frozen food, especially large birds like turkey, but we also use it in the winter to talk about the weather. For example, I'm waiting for the thaw, the ice to melt before I go out. I really hope the thaw starts soon so life can get back to normal. To thaw. It's a very important word in English because we don't have such good weather. And the thaw is spoken about as part of the weather. Oh, the weather is thawing. Oh, that's great. I'm very happy about that. At least the ice will disappear. Thaw, to thaw. And there we are. That's the verb to thaw. So you can use it when you're talking about the turkey that you're going to cook on Christmas Day, or you can use it to talk about the weather. If you don't want to wait for the food to thaw before you cook it, you can simply pop it in the microwave and press the defrost button. It's the same thing, but a very heavy turkey might be too big for the microwave, or it would take a long time for it to defrost. So you have to be careful with that. Now, I don't usually eat meat. This Christmas, I will be preparing a chicken for the family, but I won't be eating it. Well, I might have a little bit, maybe. I mean, I am vegetarian, but I don't really care about animals. I just don't want to eat them. That's all. So I might have a little bit, and I'm going to prepare the chicken using the South American recipe pollo a la brasa, which is a particular way of preparing chicken. And I'll probably make some side dishes with sweet potato, coconut milk, and a few other things. Now, most people that I know have a big Christmas celebration on the 24th. At least that's the way it is all across Europe. However, In Britain, of course, we love to be different. Our Christmas celebrations are on the 25th. That's the day when we begin cooking. And the 24th is really just a day for us to wrap up the presents and to prepare for the 25th. So it's a little bit different. Christmas time is a magical time, especially if you have children. Although if you don't have children, it can be very challenging. And many British people complain that it's very bad for their mental health. It's wrapped up with emotions and sentimentality that nobody is prepared to talk about. For example, at family gatherings, many young people see their parents and their grandparents and they think, will this be the last Christmas that we're all together? Because I'm aware that my grandmother is now 100, my parents are getting old. How long do we have with them? And they make a big effort to try to celebrate the moment. And then, of course, there's other people gathering around the family table who really don't want to be there because they feel controlled. They feel that the day is rather disrespectful. For example, if you don't drink alcohol, your family are all there drinking, and as they drink more, they're watching you not drinking and beginning to say what they think of you. Those are just two examples of what could happen at Christmas. And then there's older people like myself. My parents died many years ago, so I have the memories of my parents and grandparents, of the lovely gifts of long ago, and I'm thinking, well, where is everyone? The texts come in saying, have a nice Christmas. I hope you're all prepared. And I'm thinking, all prepared? What is it that I'm missing out on? But of course, these texts are blatantly referring to alcohol. People drink to cope with this period. So it's not all, as we say in English, fine and dandy as it appears to be. In fact, it masks a lot of very deep feelings and resentment. By the end of Christmas Day, there'll be a few fights, and I think a lot of British people now have just kind of given up. They're kind of saying, look, let's just forget about Christmas. Let's just leave it. Let's be adult about this. For me, I don't like the build-up. I don't like all of these Christmas decorations, and I particularly don't like this moral message which we're given by society. You will be happy. You will celebrate. You will be with family. I just think that it's time we kind of moved on from this moral religious period into something more meaningful. And I know I'm not alone there. So many of us are just trying to relax and step away from what is quite a hysterical time for a lot of people. Anyway, my Christmas decorations are up. I do have next week off. I'll be cooking some lovely food, and you'll see me on YouTube doing that if you're interested. And I also have a few gifts to give around Christmas. But aside from that, there's no parties that I know of. A few friends will be dropping in to say hello over the Christmas period. So that's all we really need. So let me just recap then a few Christmas traditions. which British people celebrate would include things like exchanging gifts on the 25th, watching the King's speech at 3 o'clock on Christmas Day, just while we're finishing eating. Those are two main things that we do at Christmas time. And then on the 26th, which is called Boxing Day, we usually eat the leftovers from Christmas Day. It's one time of the year that we do have some special food, but nothing is really celebrated regarding food. You know, in the English-speaking world, we do eat a lot, but we don't really taste it. You know, it's not something that we celebrate. Although I do. I've been telling you about my week-long pasta sauce, and I have to add some more ingredients to that at the weekend, including fried onions and peppers, as well as some other things. So some of us really do try to celebrate just a little bit more than we usually do. Other things you'll find people doing, well, they'll be enjoying time off work. So people usually begin drinking first thing in the morning. Now, British people have a very strange relationship with alcohol. So part of this, oh, are you all ready? Are you prepared? Has nothing to do with Christmas. It's just really asking, do you have the drinks in? Are you ready for what's going to be a very drunken few days? Not for me, because I don't drink, but that's where these messages come from. I don't think it has a lot to do with Christmas. So, drinking will be a major part of Christmas as well, because people may not be going out, and if they do, they'll take a taxi, or there'll be one member of the family who won't drink so much in order to take the others to their destination. We have traditional movies which are always shown on Christmas Day, like Home Alone, for example, and Elf. Although thankfully these days there's much more variety, and you can make your own viewing at Christmas. This year I'll be watching a Barry Manilow concert, I hope, and also Andy Williams. Andy Williams is a singer which I think many old people like to watch at Christmas. There's all kinds of Christmas movies to keep the kids occupied as well. So viewing and listening are big parts of Christmas Day. Christmas evening, the drinking continues for most people, and by the end of it, there may well be a few little arguments or fights or sentimentality surfacing. As I mentioned before, when people get together, especially with families, there's kind of a feeling of, I don't want to be here, but I do understand that my parents are getting older. That kind of feeling is always there, and it helps people to be more respectful during the Christmas days. By the 26th, everybody is itching to leave, as we say in English, and they really want to get out the house and go somewhere else. So the shops are reopening on the 26th, and that allows people to excuse themselves and go to the sales. British people are no longer very family orientated, so after the 25th, everything's kind of finished, and you end up meeting people for coffee outside the house because people don't want to be inside so much, especially if you have children. The 25th and 26th are the two public holidays. If they land on a weekend, those holidays are given on the 26th and 27th. So let's say that Christmas falls on the 25th and 26th, Saturday and Sunday. That means that you'll have 4 days off. You have the Saturday, Sunday, and the Monday and Tuesday. And then many people will try to get the 28th, 29th, and 30th off as well, so that they can say they're off work for the whole period. In the workplace, that can be very, very political. And there's often people who, well, they just want to be drunk for the whole week. That's their way of dealing with it. And so even if they are told to come to work, they might just call in sick or say that they can't come in. And some offices may also operate a flexible working pattern, or people may be allowed to work from home these days, especially after COVID. But alcohol is the name of the game. And if you're surprised by that, you shouldn't be. I mean, Britain has a very strange and strong relationship with alcohol, but nobody talks about it. You can talk about whatever you want, but don't talk about how much someone is drinking, because that's a very personal thing. And it's not until you stop drinking that you realize just how weird Britain is with alcohol. We have a very strange relationship with it, and I think we've always had. Many young people, not only in the UK, but around the world, are stopping drinking. And that's a wonderful thing. There's many blogs now about people who've given up drinking. And it's really interesting how much pressure people face to drink at this period. I was talking to someone the other day, and they were telling me that they won't even go to a pub at this time of year because it's quite common to have your drink spiked, and that means someone will put alcohol in it for you without your knowledge. And they do that just to have control, just because it's funny, because they don't want to drink alone. The whole thing is really weird, and I really admire people who aren't drinking. I don't, and I don't have a lot of patience for people who are drunk. So it's nice to be at home at this time of year, although I will be watching as my neighbours stagger past. And this is just how some people cope. They can't deal emotionally or sentimentally with the period. Well, I won't say any more about that. It is a happy time, despite complaining about British people and their drinking habits. It is a very happy time of year, and there's a lot of peace, and it'll be nice just to be away from the screen for a whole week. So I'll be making YouTube clips, I'll be making podcasts all about how I survive the Christmas period, and I hope you find those useful. But that's it from me right now. So let's talk again soon, and if you are preparing for Christmas, good luck with that. If you are celebrating the pagan festival of the shortest day, which is today and tomorrow, I wish you a very happy celebration with that as well. More and more people are celebrating traditional spiritual pathways. So today is the shortest day of the year. So I guess many people will be gathering down at Stonehenge. And even here, people are making some remembrance of the day. So if you are celebrating a pagan pathway, happy day to you as well on this shortest day, which is referred to as a solstice. That's it from me. See you all again soon. Bye.